What's going on, everybody? It's Evan and Lyle from River's Edge Cutlery and riversedgecutlery.com.
We're back,
baby. How was the trip?
Oh man, the trip was awesome. It was really, really good. There should be like a recap video coming soon. It might be already out by the time you see this one. I'm not sure yet. I'm working on it right now.
So it's just a lot of outdoor adventures then?
A lot of outdoor adventures. I took my time driving out west and camped every night on the way out there in different states. I spent 2 nights in Utah, which was definitely a highlight. And then met my wife in Phoenix, and she did her conference thing. I did my vacation retreat thing, and we did some hiking. We went to the Grand Canyon.
Oh, cool.
Some shots in that video. I'll probably put a few shots in this video too, just so you can see some of like the some of the highlight moments. The Grand Canyon is real, y'all. It's really, really cool.
It's really cool.
It lived up to the hype completely. I remember on the way out there, I was talking to her, and she was raised in a different country, and the Grand Canyon has been on her bucket list for a very long time.
Yeah.
And we were driving to it that morning from our hotel in Flagstaff, and I was like, I wonder if it's gonna like disappoint us in some way. And she's like, "Stop it! This has been a huge thing for me all my life. Don't mess it up now." And I'm like, I kind of made a joke about calling it a large crack in the earth,
which technically
she didn't like that. And but we got there, and it absolutely blew us both away. It was fantastic. If you live close by, you probably are kind of ho hum about it, maybe because it's right in your backyard. But man, we're gonna go back one day. It's good enough where the little bit that we saw of it, we know we didn't see enough, and we're gonna go back. It was beautiful.
I think, I think it's absolutely one of the most incredible natural things that I've seen. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Utah? Because I think Utah might be my favorite U.S. state to travel to.
I was actually blown away. So I drove out of my way on purpose to go up through the mountains. I wanted to go to Colorado and drive in the mountains. I wanted to stop by Spyderco, which I did.
Oh, so very cool.
That's in the video as well.
Very cool.
I got to see David, our friend out there at Spyderco. And then I drove down through the mountains, and I drove down through this place called Glenwood Canyon.
Oh, wow.
Which blew me away.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this is really, really beautiful. I had never heard of it before. But you should go look it up. It's actually quite amazing. And then, shortly after that, I was in Utah, and I'm like, have I just landed on a foreign planet?
Yeah, it's so
foreign
cool.
planet, a distant planet.
No, it's so cool.
It's amazing, and I really didn't have much preconceived like notions about Utah other than watching like, Red Bull mountain biking out there and stuff.
Yeah.
And I knew that the territories like rocks and cliffs and mesas and stuff, but I was not prepared to see what I saw. I drove through Moab. I spent the night at a campground just south of Moab and woke up to the most beautiful sky I think I've ever seen.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, the sun was kind of painting the rocks red.
That's cool.
It was beautiful.
That's really cool.
Saw some Monument Valley as well. That's the first day that I actually got to really do any hiking.
Yeah,
Because my 2 campgrounds in Utah were very close together, 2 hours apart. So I was like, I'm going to go hit some trails. So I went to Canyonlands State Park, National Park, and I did some hiking. I'm out on this trail. I hadn't even decided to do this trail until that morning because it was on my way. So I was doing research as I went, and I met 2 guys from Ohio. I kid you not.
That's cool.
One of them is from here in Columbus. He was a photographer out there taking pictures of all the pretty things that are out there. And the other one, I kid you not, ended up like telling me this story. He's from Marion, Ohio. I spent 12 years in Marion, Ohio.
Small world.
When he was young, he was an older gentleman, and he was walking, very slowly. And I was actually trying to find a way to pass him and his son out there because I was getting tired and hot. And I heard him talk about Ohio, and I'm like, oh, hey, are you from Ohio? And we struck up a conversation. He was from Marion, Ohio, and he dated one of my best friend's moms.
That's wild.
And I kid you not, I couldn't believe it. We're both from Ohio. We're out in Utah on this not that popular trail, and we just it was awesome.
That's really cool.
It was so cool.
That's really cool.
Kind of gave me chills. He started talking about her and describing her. I was like, I know this lady. Like she went to my church. So yeah, it was just a wild moment. And then later, the son came over to me. We were at the ranger station because it's the only bathroom in that area.
Yeah.
And he just came over and was really, really encouraging. I told him I was on a retreat, that I worked at a church and that I was kind of de-stressing and stuff. And he's like, I used to work at a church, so I'm going to be praying for you. And I'm just like, what is happening? This is this never happens.
That's really cool.
You know, from Ohio to Utah. So shout out to my new friends that I met on my journey. Y'all followed me out there, didn't you? It was so weird.
That's pretty cool.
It was so weird, but it was a great trip. Yeah, I can't wait to show you guys some more footage from that video. It's going to be awesome.
And I think you were out west, like out in Utah at the prettiest time of the year also.
It was perfect,
Yeah.
man.
So nice in October.
Just cool enough to get chilly at night.
Yeah.
I never got cold, and I wasn't miserable hot either.
Yeah.
Now, the trail was not something I'm used to because the heat absorbs all of, or the rocks absorb all of the heat from the sun and kind of reflect it back right up at you.
Yes.
There's no shade on this trail I was on, so luckily it was kind of mild. Like you were saying, it was the perfect weather
That's
for
perfect.
it. I still got really hot, and that's why I ended up cutting my hair off while I was in while I was out west. It was miserable, man. I'm like, I got to get this.
This has too much upkeep for the trails,
It was so
baby. My wife
man.
wants to go to Utah really bad.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
wanna go back.
Mike had taken us out there for Blade Show West a couple years ago,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
2-3 years ago now,
Mhm.
and that was just one of my favorite trips I've ever taken with REC.
It's awesome.
It was so beautiful, and it was in October, so
Perfect.
just perfect.
Yeah, I can definitely recommend that time. I got to drive past Monument Valley. I got some shots
very
of it.
cool.
I didn't get to explore because of my timetable, but man, it's just unreal.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I think just like the natural diversity that this country has is
It's crazy.
so underrated.
Yep.
Like I think people kind of joke about like, haha, Ohio is like farmland and like there's no like not
Ohio's
as
actually pretty cool.
Ohio's
but
pretty
yes,
cool, but
we're the butt of a lot of jokes.
yes, we are the butt of a lot of jokes, and I get where they're coming from, but just to be able to travel within this country is such a blessing, and that's a really good trip to go west.
I was
It's
happy I
gorgeous.
went on this road trip. I did have a moment where I passed Columbus by. I was already 2 hours into the trip, and I'm like, this is a terrible idea. On paper, this is a bad idea. I'm driving an old car all the way across the country, but it worked out. It worked out great.
At least it's an old Toyota.
It is. Yep,
Yes.
yep, it's an old reliable. So
Yeah, so you know it's gonna work.
it did just great. So
Okay, so what are we getting into today? The holidays are coming up. Christmas
Yep.
is coming up. We're
Yep.
all looking forward to it.
can't wait.
The best and the worst thing about Christmas is gift giving because it's awesome. It feels great. Sometimes it's very difficult to figure out what to get someone.
It really can be.
So we thought we'd go through today, talk about some different gifts in the EDC, outdoorsy space at a couple different price points, $50, $100, and an unlimited price point.
Yeah.
For either a man in your life or just someone who's into the outdoors, someone who's into EDC gear, or just someone you think would benefit from this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So do you want to get started with your $50 choice?
Yeah, let's do it. So I went with a knife first.
I went with a very similar knife.
I have an AB. If your person is a knife collector and they don't have one of these, I would highly recommend it. This is $49.
Yep.
The CJRB Pyrite. I'm gonna hand that off to you.
Absolutely.
So you can show the people on the camera. Just a really good budget knife. It's
Such a nice knife.
The action is really incredible.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of different blade shapes and colorways you can choose from now. It uses their proprietary ARPM9 steel. I'm probably getting that wrong. But it's an interesting steel. Kind of had a little controversy this year about that, whether it's true powder metallurgy or not. Regardless, people like the steel. It's really easy to work with. It stays sharp pretty good. It's a great budget steel, and the form and factor, the fidget factor of this thing is so fun.
It's just a nice knife.
If someone needs a good
size.
fidgety knife, $50. That's a pretty good one. Do you have a 50 or you want me to do my other 50?
I also have a 50. Then
Okay,
we'll do
cool.
and it's the same knife.
Is it no way.
And so
I saw it there and I didn't even realize
so this
it.
is essentially just the thumb stud version
Yes.
of the knife that Lyle
So
chose,
funny.
which you can see. So there's a couple different
Yeah.
options that you can get if you want thumb studs and a drop point, or if you want this kind of more sheep's foot and spidey holes type opening.
That's really
You
funny.
can do that, but I've always been impressed with this knife.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time, but just like the amount of value you can get for $50 now is absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Like Lyle said, super robust. It's a thin blade profile, so I wouldn't recommend going crazy on
Right.
pulling staples out and doing this, that, and the other.
Not a pry bar.
Not a pry bar, but it's going to be durable, stainless steel handle scales. The action you get on these is 90% as good as anything you would get up until the $500 price point, which is just absolutely crazy what you can get with diminishing returns nowadays.
I have 2 of these in my little collection at home.
So, they're great, and I just think it's an excellent gift. One thing I really have always liked about what CJRB does, and especially more recently, is they don't throw their logo huge on the handle scales or on the blade. So if it's not if you're getting this for someone that is not super into knives, but they just want a nice knife, it doesn't have like Terrifier 3 rated R on this side and the blade steel in laser engraved on this side.
You've just inspired me.
Yeah, like it doesn't have anything like corny on it. So I think they're
so cool.
They're subtle, they're understated, deep carry pocket clip. This is not an ad, so I'll stop talking about the CJRB now. But
they are just really good basic knives.
It's a nice knife. Yep. It's a nice knife, and you know it's everything you need, nothing you don't kind of thing.
Exactly.
And what's your B? Your
B
for the $50 price point.
Say you've got a knife collector, but you don't know what kind of knives they want, or maybe they don't want any budget knives, and you don't have that kind of budget to go any farther than the $50 mark. The vault case is about $40.
Yes.
$35-$40 depending on which one you get. It'll carry about I've squeezed like 15 knives into these things
you
before.
can. You absolutely can.
Probably not advisable, but
and it gets heavy.
It does get really heavy. And they have like TSA locking ones as well for a little bit more money. But this is a great way to both store and transport your knife collection or part of it.
Yes.
So, vault case, we have those here because we love this company and we like these cases.
And there's a few colors like that. That's just one of the colors, but
Stormtrooper.
Yeah, the Stormtrooper colorway is sweet. The one thing I like about them is they don't look crazy tactical. It kind of has more of like an electronics, like Apple type vibe to it.
Should open this up and show,
which is kind of cool. So you can also use these for electronics, like if you're traveling and you have like an external battery for a computer or for a phone, and you're charging cords and you this, that, and the other. You can kind of set up an entire EDC in here, and it kind of they're flat, so they fit well in backpacks. It's
all
a nice
this stuff is modular.
Yeah, they're just nice.
You can make it your own. And they have little mini ones now too.
Yes. Yep.
That's not necessarily new, but I don't have any yet. So,
well, it's new. It's new to us.
New to me.
Okay, $100 price point.
$100 price point.
So I kind of came in a little bit underneath it,
Nice.
and I'm going to try not to smack Lyle when this comes into frame.
I was worried when I saw this.
But I have bought so many of these for just men in my life. This is a council tool camp axe.
Awesome.
I think that there is just something about a nice American-made tool like this that when you hand it to someone, it just makes them feel awesome.
Right.
Someone who's into the outdoors, someone that has a little bit of land, they're going to find uses for something like this. Mm-hmm. And I just always think like getting someone something that is a useful tool, that's a necessity in many people's lives, but that is also sentimental, I think is really, really cool. That whenever they pull this out on a day and they're going to do some work with it, the work might not be fun, but at least they'll remember that you were the one that gave them this, and it's a good tool for the job. But I don't know if you have anything from council, but
I don't.
Yet. Such a nice no frills axe. I love them. I love them.
Very cool.
I've given a lot of camp axes in recent years,
and it's not as expensive as you would think it would be.
No.
The reason I can't talk.
And if you wanted to go a little bit more expensive, there's excellent axes from Holtzbrook, which are, I forget what country their country of origin is, but it's a European company. So you can kind of go a little bit more exotic. But I just think that's
the balance on this is awesome.
It's awesome.
It's 2 pounds. It's way lighter than you would think it would be.
Yeah, it's a nice tool. There's tons and tons of different sizes. You can go even smaller, much larger. But I just think that's a nice balance. It's a cool tool, and like I said, it just makes people feel good.
Yeah,
to hold it and to receive it as a gift.
I do a lot of backpacking, and that's something I've struggled with over the years. I have a couple of camp hatchets that I would take car camping with me, but I wouldn't stick, a heavy camp hatchet in my backpack. That actually feels better than some of the cheaper, Lowe's or Home
Yeah,
Depot
with the
purchases
composite
that I've made.
handles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
And yeah, I think it's a nice gift. It's something that people
Awesome.
don't really think to buy themselves.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I have a friend. Well, actually, the friend who I was talking about in my story earlier,
Yeah.
he carries a Camp Axe backpacking with
Wow.
him. He doesn't care about the weight. He
That's
just
cool.
he's he can start a fire in a downpour.
Oh, yeah.
He's the fire whisperer. But yeah, he uses a Camp Axe wherever he goes, no matter if he has to lug their weight around or not.
And he's probably a good person to hike with because
is a
then
very
you don't
good person to hike with.
Because then you don't have to carry it, but you also get
Yes.
all the benefits of having an axe,
Yeah,
which
so
is great.
I started leading these trips at my church, and I'm like, I'm not going without Tony.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there you go, buddy. I shouted
He's
you
a dead
out.
ringer. You need him
Shouted you out.
on every hike.
The fire whisperer.
What do you have for the $100 price point?
My $100 price point is kind of a special release from Spyderco. This is the Micro Melt Steel Sprint Run in these burgundy scales of the
Yeah.
Dragonfly 2.
Yep,
So if you want to show that off, be our hand model to the camera.
I can do.
Limited run because it's a sprint run, and a lot of people like to collect those for
Yeah.
sure. A lot of people like to geek out about the different kinds of steels that come out that maybe aren't, always available, and that was definitely one. Spyderco did a lot of their lightweight models in that steel this year, but we don't know exactly, how much longer that's going to be a thing. I
For
think
sure.
they're kind of sold through. A lot of the models are, but we still have that one and a couple of others of the.
Am I
Love the
thinking of a
Micro Melt.
different knife? Didn't you buy one of your daughters a small Spyderco recently? Was it
I
a
did.
man?
It was the man bug.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
just the blacked out man
Yes.
bug for her birthday. She's big into to black stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
she's just like
she's getting something all murdered out.
she's a rock and roller, and yeah, that fit her vibe. So
Absolutely. And something that's awesome about these is I think this might be the smallest Spyderco they make that still has a pocket clip.
yep, I think
So on a day that you're just wearing gym shorts and kind of bumming around the house, this will do everything you need it to do.
it's one of my favorite
that's
Spyderco
great.
models.
It's just a great
Dragonfly
knife.
2. Yep,
It's like less than 2 ounces.
I have a K390 Warncliffe.
I love
one,
K390.
and man, that's a beast. I use it all the time.
That's an underrated steel.
It really is.
Love K390. If you
Like
get,
Maximet Junior.
yes,
But
yes.
Some people think it's better.
I think I actually prefer it. I think it's a little bit tougher. So I think it's a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
think
more
you're right.
well-rounded, and we can geek out about that on another. Maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about maybe in the next video we'll talk about a steel that we think is overrated and a steel we think is underrated.
Oh, we're gonna hurt some feelings.
Yes, we are. And these opinions
All right.
do not represent
Nope.
riversedgecutlery.com.
just two guys talking, people. Just two guys talking.
Just
Yep.
two guys that post on their Insta or on their YouTube page. We just actually hacked the account.
Oh my goodness, we're getting fired.
We're getting
All right.
fired. Okay, well, let me do my my unlimited. So I didn't actually go super crazy price wise on my unlimited. Everyone knows I am a sucker for ProTech automatics
For good reason.
Yeah, and
For good reason.
ProTech has manuals if you live in a state or in a region, a city, whatever that doesn't allow automatics. But oh my gosh, that's pretty
cool.
crazy. So this is a TR3.
Helicopter off
Yeah,
of
just
the
fling. So this is a TR3. This has always been my favorite ProTech model. To me, this just looks like you handed someone a piece of paper and just said, "Hey, can you draw a knife?"
Right.
And then this is what it is.
Classic.
Yeah, it's just it's a great size. It's not super scary looking. I love the ano color they did on this. I think it's
too.
so unique. I hope they do this on more of their models. But this one's in 154 cm. They sell the TR3 a lot of times in MagnaCut and sometimes in D2. A lot of times you'll see them in 154 as well. But I think that's a great way to get people into the kind of higher end knife space.
Definitely.
It's right around the $200 range, maybe $220. I should have probably paid a little bit more attention to the price on that. But you can get them $200 all the way up to $500 for something crazy with
They do some special models
yeah.
and some custom and semi-custom models.
Yes. So this is a way to get someone into a USA made knife, an automatic from a company with a little bit of history, with a lot of aftermarket support. Just a great knife.
I
think
some
that's a great-
ProTech around here.
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
a big ProTech guy. I carry one at work every day. They're just great knives.
Oh yeah, that knife's been on the show.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yep.
And then, so what do you have? Yeah, you have another high-end
Yeah.
USA-made knife from a company that we appreciate.
Yeah. So the third category was, sky's the limit kind
Sky's
of
the
thing.
limit.
So I thought, and I just picked one. I did pick the cheapest one.
Okay.
It's a small Nkosi. It's just
Beautiful
plain
knife.
Jane. It is the glass blasted,
Oh,
which
beautiful.
is really, really nice. But you could put in any, I think, Chris Reeve knife, whichever one, whichever
absolutely.
permutation you want.
Absolutely, you could.
They do go up in price depending on all the inlays and the different kinds of configurations that you get. I do think the glass blast is a little more expensive than
Sure.
the traditional one, but really
It makes a big
any
difference,
Chris Reeve
though.
knife, if you have someone in your life that maybe doesn't have one yet or hasn't spent quite that price range for their collection yet, that's a really good place to start.
Yes, it is.
I think the cheapest ones start at $425, and then they go up to, for some of the base models that aren't the unique graphics kind of thing, up to $650 these days.
With
Somewhere
micarta
around there, yeah,
or
micarta.
whatever's going on.
I have a nice a box elder inlay one that I love, and I got it before the prices went up a little bit. So just a beautiful, beautiful knife that is one of my favorites. And what an awesome gift. I wanted to do something for my dad this year because it was his 70th birthday, and he did not have a Chris Reeve knife. I didn't have the budget to purchase one for him, so I actually gave him one for my collection.
Very good.
Which I thought, am I being cheap? But
No, I think it's actually more.
It ended up being even more special. I still had the box and all that stuff, and the look on his face when he opened that gift just made my year.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
That's great.
He felt like he couldn't justify spending that much on a knife. It's a really good thing to give a really special gift for sure.
Absolutely.
That made me feel pretty good this year.
What model did you give him?
It was a large Sabenza with
Good start.
the dark micarta inlays.
Oh, that's nice.
It was beautiful.
That's
beautiful
nice.
knife. Yeah,
And that's a worker.
it is.
Like you could beat that knife up.
Yep.
I hope he does.
I think he will.
Yeah.
Although he did say, I'm afraid to carry it because I don't want to lose it. I'm like, Dad, you
yeah.
have to carry this knife. It's got a pocket clip. You'll be fine.
Usually I just lose knives in my house. And then
That's where me
then
too.
I'll open a drawer like in a bathroom. I'm like, oh, there's my
There it is.
Microtex SOCOM.
I've had one or two knives go through the laundry.
I
you
have
know?
I've had a couple. I think the knife I have on today went through the laundry, but
My wife's
didn't
like,
open.
I found something. Is this yours? I'm like, yeah, it's mine.
it was just really clean, but it's in MagnaCut, so it didn't rust. So
Right.
we're good.
It's tumbled a
Yes.
second time.
Yeah, it's got a different finish
Tumbled
on
finish.
it now.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so do you want to do a little pocket dump?
Let's do it.
Get the people on their way.
All right.
Me start?
Do you have two or one? I have two.
I just have one.
Okay, I'll start then.
Okay.
So we'll go back and forth. I think you're gonna like this.
I hope.
So
I usually do.
I've been on a ProTech kick lately.
Oh, I can already see a bit of it.
And
That's sweet.
Yeah, this came in recently, and I thought this is one of my favorite knives ever designed.
Yeah.
One of my most carried knives of all time. I had three. I sold one, and now I have three again.
Oh Lord.
This is
Oh.
a very special, very blingy ProTech Malibu. This is the aluminum bronze.
That is sweet.
I took
It's got some cool weight to it.
Yep. I took the pocket clip off so that I could get the patina just right. And
I never thought about that.
Not have the halo effect around the pocket
I
clip.
never thought about that.
So I'm gonna carry it a few weeks like that, just loosey goosey in the pocket, which is not my favorite way to carry a knife, but I really want
it's so nice.
I want to get the patina just right.
MagnaCut.
MagnaCut.
There's something about this aluminum bronze. It always changes the way the
so
action
cool.
feels too. I don't know if it's the weight or with a counterbalance effect, but it's
There's
just
something
such a
about
nice knife. Excuse me.
The weight, they milled out the interior really, really deeply.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing. So it doesn't just feel like a big chunk of metal.
No.
But it definitely feels very substantial. And
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. It just kind of feels like, okay, I bought this knife. It was kind of expensive, but it's absolutely worth it.
Such a nice knife.
The way that it feels, the action. And it's a ProTech Malibu, which is one of my favorite designs ever. So
I love the milling on it too. I think
it's so cool.
it just has like a Great Gatsby, that era kind of, that era vibe to it, especially with the mosaic button. That's going to be kind of hard for me to show, but
I'll zoom in on the camera
man.
on that. It's beautiful.
It's
that
pretty nice.
Pattern, they call it the Nexus pattern.
I like that.
That's also a special, like a 25th anniversary one that says since 1999 on the back.
Beautiful.
And Cool little fun fact. That pattern is actually the same pattern that comes on the sleeve of the boxes when you buy a Pro Tech.
Oh, I never put that together.
Little triangles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
with the black and the gloss black.
That's the exact pattern.
Oh, that's really cool. I never put that together.
So many neat things going for it. So I had to pick that one up.
That's great.
So now I own 3 Malibus again.
I love that.
I'm a Pro Tech fanboy.
I also have a Pro Tech.
Hey.
This one's not fancy, but that action did sound pretty good there. Dude. But this is just a Magna Cut TR3.
Is that the one we were just talking about?
That's the one we were just talking about. Knife. It's been washed. The clip is all screwed up. I'm sure I've scratched it on people's cars on accident. I apologize. But I love this knife, and it just never fails me.
Dude, that's awesome.
Fish scale. I never liked manual safeties.
Right.
This one has never accidentally engaged or disengaged on me.
That's
so
good.
I like it.
Yeah.
What else you got?
That's really funny.
Yeah, we gotta have a Pro Tech.
Almost the same thing. This is a TR5, but very
Sapphire.
Similar. Yeah, Sapphire edition. Just a beautiful knife. It's a little bit smaller than the TR3.
Yeah, a little lighter.
I'll let you play with that.
I love these knives.
Doug brought one of those home from Blade Show one year, and I was like, yeah, I'm coming over. I'm coming over to pick that up.
That thing is sweet.
The Sapphire is just really cool. I feel like the story is they can do it once or twice a year, depending on the machinery where they have the coatings done. They go down the road and they say, hey, this is the time we can get that sapphire color. And it's just this really cool story. And I think it's after they take down the machinery
it has
do
to
the
be
maintenance.
clean.
Yeah. To get that color.
If I remember correctly, I think the machinery has to be almost brand new clean.
Yeah.
Like after they've done their yearly or monthly, however, frequent maintenance on it.
Yeah.
And then they can run it. And that PVD, if you clean it with an ammonia-based cleaner, it's a different color. If you clean it with an oil-based cleaner, it's a different color. You can make it dark blue. You can make it purple. It's so freaking cool.
Yeah, it can
the
go
oils
so
from your
many different
fingers will
shades.
make it a different color. It's a really neat, kind of nerdy, fun.
It looks
way
like
to get down.
one of those cars that has the metallic aftermarket paint job that changes shades as you drive by it.
Absolutely.
That's what
like
it feels
like a Mr. Chrome Mustang or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Super, super sweet.
Yeah, I love that knife.
Anything else?
That's all I've got.
That's all I got. That's cool.
Pocket dump wise.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So guys, let us know down below what your kind of choices for 50, 100, and unlimited. And you can go about that a couple of different ways. You can go about that and say, this is what I would like at 50, 100, or an unlimited budget, and then send that picture to your wife. Or you can, or you can go about it and like kind of think of more practically of what you would spend for another knife lover in your life.
I could certainly
at that price range.
come up with a personal wish list.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and babe, if you're watching this, I would like any of these knives.
There's a message.
Specifically, if you could contact Lyle and just buy this one.
Dude, we have more of those in stock. I'm just saying. As of the timing of this video, we still have some in stock. So.
Awesome. Well, you're back from vacation.
Back.
I'm a little bit less busy at work, so we're going to be kind of picking these back up again.
Right.
Can't
wait.
So I appreciate you guys being patient and waiting on us. But
yeah, man.
You got anything else for the people, Lyle?
That's all I got.
Cool.
Stay tuned for more.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Have a good rest of your week. Bless
See
you.
ya.